Greetings, wonderful audience. Amarjit here from our PTE classes. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing fantastic. So do subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet. And those who already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to represent listening filling the blanks, because listening filling the blanks with the different accents at a different speed is very important. So listening filling the blanks is contributing 14 points in the PTE. So 7 points for the writing section and 7 points for the listening section. So these are listening filling the blanks with the different accents and at the different speeds, as we will follow some grammar rules. Like basic grammar rules mean how you have to take care about the plurals and the form of verbs and the nouns. So let's get into the video. So this is the first example. Keep your pen and paper ready.
We can gain an accurate knowledge of the past only if we know the age of the different sources being investigated. Without this information, historians and archaeologists could not be sure of the order in which different areas were settled, used, and abandoned. They would not always be sure if a particular object was real or forgery.
So keep your pen and paper ready along with this video. So first example is the knowledge. So check your spellings, because spelling is very important in listening filling the blanks. So next one is investigated. So proofreading is very important. Abundant. Check your spellings of abundant. And last one is the forgery. So let's check the answers. First one is the knowledge. Next one is the investigated, abundant, and forgery. So check your spellings. Keep your pen and paper ready along with this video. So you will get the paragraphs like these paragraphs in the final PT exam. So you can say that these are listening filling the blanks, somewhat similar to the final PT exam. So next example, keep your cursor here so that you can save your time.
There are some common reasons to explain why early civilizations developed in different places in different times around the world. Each ancient civilization has been discovered developed in places where there was a reliable water supply, usually on the banks of major rivers, and where the soil was fertile enough to grow crops.
So first one is times, because if you will see before the blanks, it's places. So it means different places and different times. So you can also check before blanks. There was a. So a means it will be singular. So it is reliable. Third one is on the banks. You can guess from here also, major rivers. It means on the banks. Next is was fertile. So let's check the answers. Times, reliable, banks, and fertile.
All around the world, significant parts of our cultural heritage are threatened by pollution, neglect, carelessness, and greed. In learning the importance of our history, we come to understand the need to protect significant remains from the past so that future generations can come to understand their heritage.
So first one is threatened. Threatened. So check your spellings of threaten. So first you have to write threaten. So these are the spellings of threaten. So here it is R, means it is a passive voice. So you will use third form of verb here. Next is neglect, then carelessness. So you will write carelessness like this. First care, then less, then ness. Next one is remains, significant remains, and last one is future generations. So you will write generations, not generation, because it is talking about the future. So in future there will be generations. So let's check the answers. First one is the threatened, next one is the carelessness, then remains, then generations.
The Nile River is the most important source of water in Egypt. It begins in the highlands south of Egypt, where there is a large amount of rain. It flows almost 6,500 kilometers across the desert before it empties into the Mediterranean Sea. The long, thin strips along each side of the Nile River are the most fertile parts of Egypt, where Egyptians have farmed the land since ancient times.
So first one is in the highlands. First you have to write high, then lands. Next one is across the desert before it empties. Thin strips. And next is farmed. So first one is highlands, desert, before it empties, then thin strips, and last one is farmed. So let's check the answers. So these are the answers. Do proofreading. So you will get the paragraphs like this in the final PT exam, and you can check the distance between two blanks is very less. So you will get same lines. Next one. Only 4 blanks. Keep your cursor here.
Barred owls can be found in dense forests right across North America. They feed on small mammals, fish, birds, and small reptiles, pretty much anything that comes their way. The barred owl grows up to half a meter tall and has emerged as a very adaptable nocturnal predator. Whereas they've been long thought to live in old-growth forests, they're now building up quite an urban population. In Charlotte, North Carolina, barred owls tend to nest in the cavities of the numerous willow oak trees that line the city streets. Far from being endangered, the owls have expanded their range, and now, in some places, conservationists are worried about the effects they might have on other native species.
So in the first one, small mammals. So in mammals you have to write M-A-M-M-A-L-S. Mammals. So check your spellings of mammals. So next one is adaptable. So check your spellings of adaptable. Third one is urban population, and last one is other native species. So let's check the answer. Mammals, M-A-M-M-A-L-S, then adaptable, urban population, and its native species. So if you are not able to hearing like species, means before species there is a blank, then there is no negative marking in listening filling the blanks, then you can write at your own if you are not able to listen that blanks. So you can use this strategy because native and species is the collocation. Next one.
Before the beginning of the 1900s, the only way to obtain pearls was by collecting very large numbers of pearl oysters from the ocean floor by hand. The oysters, or sometimes mussels, were brought to the surface, opened and searched. More than a ton of these had to be checked in order to find just 3 or 4 quality pearls. Divers often descended to depths of over 100 feet on just one single breath. Now, of course, this exposed them to hostile creatures and dangerous waves, not to mention drowning. In some areas, divers put grease on their bodies to conserve heat, and they held a large object, like a rock, to descend, so they didn't have to exert effort going down. Today, pearl diving has pretty much been supplanted by cultured pearl farms. Particles are implanted in the oyster to encourage the formation of pearls, and this allows for more predictable production. The divers who still work do so mainly for the tourist industry.
So in these blank there is a difference. So I was writing directly on the computer. So first one is the searched. So you can check ki before blank there is a opened. So were. So were with were we use third form of verb. So you can check from here because it is opened, then we will write searched. And next one is them to hostile and had a large object. Then cultured pearl farms. And last one is the tourist industry. So let's check. So these are the answers. So you can check from here. ED form is here and ED form is here. and tourist industry. Then pearl hai, not it's a simple form, it's a forms. Next one. So these are little bit close.
Almost everyone has heard of the London Stock Exchange, but relatively few know anything about the London Metal and Commodity Exchanges. Yet these markets have a greater influence on world economies because they set global prices for some of the essential raw materials for industry and food manufacture. The LME provides 3 basic services to the world's non-ferrous metal trade. First, it is a market where large or small quantities of metal of a guaranteed minimum standard can be bought and sold on specific trading days. Second, it acts as a barometer of world metal prices. And third, it is a hedging medium. That is, it can help traders get some protection from price fluctuations that occur for economic, political or financial reasons.
So first one is relatively with single ly, relatively. Next one is influence, have a greater influence on world economies. Next is manufacture, quantities, large or small quantities of metal, and last one is the financial. Relatively, influence, manufacture, quantities and financial. So these are the answers. Check your spellings. Relatively, influence, manufacture, quantities and financial. Next one.
An important question about education is then, why do some types of student achieve success easily and others struggle to do well? Well, one theory is that there's a genetic reason for academic achievement. What I mean by that is a certain innate, measurable level of intelligence. Another frequently discussed theory is environmental factors, such as the effect of home and family upbringing. A final reason is related to the teaching and learning process within educational institutions, and the way it is organised, administered, and assessed.
So first one is, there is a genetic reason. Next one is measurable level of intelligence. Next one is learning process. And last one is assessed. So there is a genetic reason, level of intelligence, teaching and learning process, and last one is assessed. So we will write assessed with ASS, then ESS, then ED. So let's check the answers. Genetic, intelligence, process, then assessed. So you will take care of, before the blanks there is a ED form. So we will write also ED form here.
I'd recommend that you all try to get hold of English in the Southern Hemisphere by Nolan and Watts, as this provides an excellent overview of the topics that we're going to be covering in this module. It's really our primary text. It has particularly strong sections on the history of English in Australia and New Zealand, examining in some depth how the language has developed in these countries. The sections on phonology and on vocabulary will be invaluable when you're doing the written assignment, which I'm going to be telling you about in a moment once I've given you the details of a couple of other essential references.
So it was little bit fast. So first one is an excellent overview. So we will write overview like this. We will not give a space between over and view. We will write it combined. Next one is primary. Third one is developed. in these countries. Has, with has we use third form of verb, so you have to take care of this thing. Next is will be invaluable. So these are the spellings of invaluable. INVALUABLE, and last one is details. So let's first check the answers. Overview, primary, developed, invaluable and details. Let's do the next one. Check your spellings.
It isn't necessary to have a specialized knowledge of, say, the intricacies of counterpoint, or even to be able to read music to understand it. Usually getting the point of a piece of music, its emotional and dramatic impact, is immediate or simply requires you to become more familiar with it. Of course, prolonged study of music and its composition, as in any other field, will increase your understanding, but not necessarily your enjoyment. Now, I realize that it can require a good deal of willingness on our part to risk new sensations, and there is a lot of music that will seem unfamiliar and alien to you on a first hearing.
So first one is specialized. Before blank we have. So with have we use third form of verb, so we will write ed form. So you can write specialized with z or s also. Next is dramatic impact. Next one is become more familiar with it, and last one is composition. So let's check the answers and spellings. Specialized, you can write specialized with z or s. Next one is impact. Next one is familiar. Check your spellings of familiar. And last one is composition.
Learning a language in the classroom is never easy, and quite frankly, it's not the way that most people would choose to learn if they had other options. Having said that, there are plenty of reasons for keeping languages on the school curriculum. For one thing, a fair number of students go on to take jobs in business and commerce that require a basic knowledge of a second language. When you talk to young employees in top companies, it seems that they had a career plan from the start. They were motivated to find additional things to put on their CVs, and of course language is one of those added but significant extras.
So first one is quite frankly. FRANKLY, frankly. Next one is had other options. So if you have other, then we will write plural, options. Next is a basic knowledge. Next one is young employees. So these are the spellings of employees. Check your spellings. Next one is significant. So check your spellings of significant. Frankly, options, basic knowledge of second language, employees, then significant extras. Next one.
The assignment that I'm going to set for the holiday period is one that we've given students for a number of years. It's quite practical and will allow you to get out and about. It's no good being shut up in your rooms all the time. It does have a written element too. Basically, it's a data gathering exercise, and there are two choices with regard to how you collect the data. We'll go through those in a moment. I'm also going to give you a link to an internet site that is, well, it's critical that you review this before you do anything, as it provides a lot of guidance on data presentation, both in terms of how you plot it, its diagrammatic form, and also its description, which has to be clear.
It's quite practical. So first one is practical. Next one is element, written element 2. Next one is collect. How you collect the data. Next one is review. And last one is description. So let's check the answers. Practical, element, collect, review and description. Check your spellings. Next one. Keep your eyes on the screen and your hand on the notepad.
This week we're going to be continuing our discussion of women in society. Last week we looked at a number of issues relating to women in education. If you remember, we discussed women both at school and at university. Today we're going to be considering the roles that women play in the workplace. Again, we'll start by taking a historical perspective, and inevitably you'll find that many of the same events that impacted on women in education also had a major influence on their working lives. In the second half of the lecture, I'll concentrate on the situation in Europe today, and I'll invite you to suggest how you think things are likely to develop over the next decade. Okay, so let's get started.
So it's a number of issues. So how you will take care ki it will be a plural or the singular. Here it is number. So number means it will not a singular. So we will use issues. Next one is considering the roles, because woman is not playing a single role. So we will take it plural. Next is many of the same. So here it is many. So many means plurals. So we will write here events. Situation in Europe. So Europe is the name of a country. So you will write E capital. And last one is the over the next decade. So let's check the answers first. Issues, roles, events, Europe and the decade. Next one.
To be honest, the biggest problem for most undergraduate students in terms of academic writing is not only adapting to a far more structured and formal style, but also learning how to ascertain the difference between important, valid information and unnecessary or even irrelevant material. In my experience, I would say it takes students their first year, if not longer, to appreciate what is required and to start to implement those requirements in their writing. What they really should be doing, if they are struggling with written assignments, is to seek help from the excellent support services which are available at the university.
So I think in the first one it's structured. S-T-R-U-C-T-U-R-E-D. Structure, because you have to write structure then D. And next is valid information. There are two collocation, valid information or the basic information. Next one is irrelevant material. Next one is appreciate. Next is assignments. So you can check the spellings of assignments within the paragraph also. And last one is the excellent. So let's first check the answers. Yeah. So it's structured. Check your spellings of structured. Valid information. Material. Irrelevant material. Appreciate, with two we use first form of verb. So it is appreciate. Assignments. And here it is excellent.
It isn't necessary to have a specialized knowledge of, say, the intricacies of counterpoint, or even to be able to read music to understand it. Usually getting the point of a piece of music, its emotional and dramatic impact, is immediate or simply requires you to become more familiar with it. Of course, prolonged study of music and its composition, as in any other field, will increase your understanding, but not necessarily your enjoyment. Now, I realize that it can require a good deal of willingness on our part to risk new sensations, and there is a lot of music that will seem unfamiliar and alien to you on a first hearing.
So first one is specialized. Have, with have we use third form of verb. Then dramatic impact, more familiar with it, its composition, and last one is the hearing. So let's check the answers first. Specialized, impact, familiar, composition, and the hearing. Let's do the next one.
Before farming was introduced into Scotland, people lived by hunting, fishing, and gathering wild foodstuffs. This way of life meant that they usually didn't settle permanently in one place, but were to an extent nomadic, moving about in search of a livelihood, perhaps returning to the same places at certain times of the year. It is believed that the islands of Orkney were known to these people, but so far only a few flint tools have been found to verify this. This is because coastal erosion has destroyed many ancient sites, and these may have contained relics of some of these earliest pioneering colonists.
So first one is fishing and gathering. So here it is ing, means you can check here it is hunting, fishing, so it means here it is ing form gathering. Next one is permanently. So check your spellings of permanently. Next one is flint tools. Coastal erosion. And last one is colonists. So first one is gathering, permanently, then tools, then coastal erosion, and last one is the colonist. So I was not sure about S means singular or plural, but I think so ki here it is these. So you can check from these ki it will be plural. So let's check the answers first. Gathering, so we will use ing form because here it is ing form. So it is settle permanently. Flint tools. Next is erosion, and last one is colonist. So you can check from here also because it is these. So let's do the next.
Paper was first manufactured in Europe by the Spanish in the 12th century, although it had been imported since the 10th century. Around the year 1276, a mill was established at Fabriano in Italy. The town became a major centre for paper making, and throughout the 14th century provided most of Europe with fine quality paper, which it has continued to produce ever since. By the 15th century, paper was also being manufactured in Germany and France, and it was not long before both countries became almost completely independent of material bought overseas. With the increasing availability of paper in Europe, the production of identical printed pictures became almost inevitable.
So first one is had been imported. With had been we use third form of verb, imported. Next is mill, M-I-double-L. Third one is provided because the sentence is in the past form, so we will use third form of verb. Next is availability. So check your spellings of availability. So first you have to write available, then E-I-T-Y. So here it is availability, and last one is the production. So let's check the answers first. Imported, mill with double L, provided, then availability. Check your spellings of availability because sometime most of the students got confused. A-V-A-I-L-A-B-I-L-I-T-Y. So first you have to write availability. Next one is the production.
The spinal cord, the link between the brain and the body, is a band of nervous tissue about the thickness of your little finger that runs through the backbone. Nerve cells, called motor neurons, convey electric impulses that travel from the brain to the spinal cord, branching off at the appropriate point and passing to the various parts of the body. Similarly, sensory neurons transmit messages from organs and tissues via the spinal cord to the brain. But the spinal cord also functions without the brain having to intervene. It alone controls those actions called spinal reflexes that need to be carried out very fast in response to danger.
So first one is a band of nervous tissue. Next one is neurons convey electric impulses. Similarly, sensory, sensory. Next is the spinal cord also functions. So here it is plural. Next one is spinal reflexes, reflexes. So let's check the answers first. Nervous, convey, sensory, functions, then reflexes.
The growth of the modern state brought with it the development of mass political parties and the emergence of professional politicians. A man whose occupation is the struggle for political power may go about it in two ways. First, a person who relies on their political activities to supply their main source of income is said to live off politics, while a person who engages in full-time political activities but who doesn't receive an income from it is said to live for politics. Now, a political system in which recruitment to positions of power is filled by those who live for politics is necessarily drawn from a property-owning elite who are not usually entrepreneurs. However, this is not to imply that such politicians will necessarily pursue policies which are wholly biased towards the interests of the class they originate from.
So modern state is the struggle, their main source of income, engages, engages, in which recruitment, biased, and last one is originate from. So let's check answers. So these are the answers. Check your spelling. Struggle with double G, engages, recruitment, biased, and originate. One blank will contribute 1 point in speaking, 1 point in writing.
There have been many studies in America of the opinions and behavior of university lecturers and professors, and of well-known free or public thinkers who are not attached to a university or other institution, which show that those who are recognized as being more successful or productive as scholars in their field, or are at the best universities, are much more likely to have critical opinions. That is to say, that they are more likely to hold liberal views, in the American use of that word, than those of their colleagues who are less creative or who have less of a reputation. The better a university is, as measured by the test results of its students or by the prestige of its staff, the more likely it has been that there will be student unrest and a relatively left-of-center faculty.
So first one is opinions, because they are talking about the studies. So in study there is not a one opinion, so it is opinions. So you will write S in the end. Next one is attached, because it is are not. So are not means third form of verb. So we will write here attached. Next is university or other. Next is colleagues, 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 because it is there. So there means plural. Next is reputation. So check your spellings of reputation. And last one is staff. Opinions, who are not attached, because with are, if the sentence is in the passive voice, then we will use ed form of verb. Or other institutions, their colleagues, because there is a plural, means they are talking about multiple persons. Then reputation, and last one is the staff. So let's check the answers. So these are the answers: opinions, attached, other, colleagues, reputation, and staff. So this is the last one.
However simple or complex the chain of events in any given situation, when looked into, it usually reveals a train of causal relationships. They are seen to be linked in some way. The methods of analysis aim to establish these relationships and provide a solid background for useful generalizations based on what at first appear to be separate events. The first step in this process is to collect facts and then see if any particular patterns emerge. If they do, it then becomes possible to form theories related to the facts, and this type of empirical theory forms a useful basis for analysis and prediction. However, on its own this theory is not enough. The essential second step is to test it by collecting more facts and by checking predictions against events. These new facts may mean you have to modify the theory, bearing in mind that new facts can only either disprove or support a theory. They cannot prove it to be right.
So first one is train of causal relationships. Next one is linked. Be, with be we use third form of verb. Next is useful generalization. So you can write generalization with S or Z also. So I am writing with the help of Z. Next is patterns, any particular patterns. Next one is analysis. To modify, because to hai, with to we use first form of verb. Then support. So support means to support a theory, not S-P-O-R-T wala support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T. Let's check the answers. So this is causal, linked, generalizations. Check your spellings of generalization. First you have to write journal, then izations. Particular patterns, analysis and prediction. You have to modify because it is to, with to we use first form of verb. Then support means S-U-P-P-O-R-T wala support. So this is all from my side. So if you have any queries, any doubts, then you can write in the comment box, and don't forget to like on my videos and to share my videos. Those your friends are preparing for PTE, then please share these videos with your friends also. And thank you so much for watching my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.